Hi everyone, welcome to the online session of TOC. In the previous session we discussed about what is automata. In this session we will see about the types of automata. There are two types of finite automata. One is deterministic finite automata, we call it as DFA. Another one is non-deterministic finite automata, that is NFA. Okay. So as we discussed finite automata, the word automata means a machine which do all self computation. Okay, and finite means in fixed amount of time, the machine will halt. So finite automata means a type of machine, a self computing machine which will halt in fixed amount of time. Okay, we'll be giving some input, it will process through intermediate states and it will halt, it will reach in a final state. So in this first type is deterministic finite automata, DFA. So deterministic finite automata are those type of finite automata which is having only one path for specific input. Okay, for a particular input it is having only one path. It's having only one path. Now this is very important, one path for particular input from a current state to next state. Okay, so it will not be accepting a null move and all if there is no input. Imagining that there is some input and it will jump to that and all will not be happening in DFA. DFA you need an input, for that particular input one path will be there from the current state to the next state. As you can see in the example, see there is a state Q0. So this state for a particular input A, it is going from the Q0 state to Q1 state. Now if I am making QA, one path is there for A, the input A, one path is there. If we cannot make another part like from Q0 again for the input A, it is moving to Q3. Wrong, it's wrong. Why? Because DFA means deterministic finite automata. That means definitely there will be one path. So one path for each input. Okay. So it is completely wrong that for one path is possible. Okay. So only one path is possible. So that is our DFA. Okay. So in DFA again one more important thing is that if there is no input, suppose there is no input A, B, nothing, no input, then imagining that there is an input from Q0 for we call it as null. For the null movement, with the help of null movement we cannot move from Q0 to Q1. It is not possible in DFA. This particular statement that DFA does not accept the null move, more precisely we will be able to understand in the topic non-deterministic finite automata, NFA. Okay. So this DFA also we can represent with the same 5 tuples which we discussed in the finite automata. That is, Q is the set of states, sigma is the set of input symbols, and Q0 is the initial state, F is the final state, and delta is the transition function. Okay, suppose you want to make a machine which only accepts any string with AAB as substring, any string. So it will be taking any word into it, any string into it, provided the substring inside that, in between that string there should be AAB. We need to make a machine, we need to make a DFA, deterministic finite automata we need to make. Okay, so how to make that? So to face such type of question, first we must understand what is graphical representation of a DFA. Means what is the state diagram, how to represent our ideas to make a machine, to make a DFA, or deterministic finite automata. What are the rules, how to make this graphical representation. The graphical representation is also called as state diagram. Okay. So up to this one point is clear that deterministic finite automata means for every input there will be only one path. Only one path will be there. Multiple paths is not possible in DFA. Only one path. That is the main important base of DFA. Okay. So DFA when we are representing with the help of directed graphs means there will be arrow, the graphs will be having a direction, okay, that is the graph with the lines will be having a arrow. Without a direction it won't be, there will be a direction that where to move, that is directed graphs, okay. So when we are representing in graphical representation, we will be using directed graph for DFA. And what will be the vertices here are representing the states. What is the current state, what is the next state, okay, on this input, where it will be going. So those states are represented by the vertices. And the arcs here are will be labeled with the input alphabet. It shows the transaction on a particular input from this state where the next transaction will be, okay. And initial state, the initial state is always represented with an empty single incoming arc. As you can see here with the green I am highlighting, see, this is the initial state beginning, this is the beginning of our DFA. So the initial state is represented by an empty arc, means here no input symbol is there, just an empty arc. It is pointing to this when this mark is coming, an empty arc over the state, that means this is the initial state, okay. And final state is represented by the double circles. In a diagram it is easy to then to identify that which is the initial state, from where the transactions are starting and where it will be ending. With the help of this it is easy to understand, okay. So here we learned 4 points, that is DFA we always represent with the help of directed graphs, okay. And the vertices are always represent the states. Arcs, on the arcs there will be label of input alphabets, and that shows our transaction. This shows our transaction. Initial state is always denoted with an empty single incoming arc, and the final state is always indicated with the double circle. Always put in double circle. Okay. So let's quickly see one DFA, how to understand the DFA, how to represent that directed graph of the DFA. So this is one example of DFA where I am having a finite set of states. I am having 3 states, okay, 3 states. One is A, one is B, one is C. So before itself we learned that DFA we can represent with the help of 5 tuples, right? 5 tuples. How we are representing? See here, we are representing in this way 5 tuples. First one is Q. Q is the set of states, finite set of states. These are the fixed states where my input must go and give me some output. So here set of states are A, B, C. So Q represents A, B, C, and sigma represents the input symbol. What are the input you will be giving to the machine? Here my inputs are in terms of 0 and 1. So the sigma, so first is Q, into 5 tuples are there. First is Q, that is A, B, C, and sigma is the input symbol, that is here 0 and 1. And Q0 represents the initial state. What is my Q0 here? My initial state. With the help of a hint, I know that if an empty arc is moving to a set, to a vertex, that is my initial state. So here that is the the A1, okay, A state. So initial state is A, okay, so I got to understand Q0. Now my final state is where I am having double circles. So my C is my final state where I will be getting an output. So double circles is on C, so that means my final state is here C, okay. So my final state is C. And the transaction function delta we will be representing that transaction function with the help of table. So the transaction function we will be understanding with the help of table. So as we can see for this diagram, let's see, on the top it will be inputs, that is 0 and 1, and on the bottom it will be states. My 3 states are A, B, C. So this is my initial state and this is my final state, right? Okay. So look at here A. So initial state A. For this A state, on the input A state, for the input 0, where it is going for the state A, on the input 0, see the loop is coming back to the same state. For the state 0, for the state A, on the input 0, it is coming back to A. So on So the state A, 0th input if we are giving to state A, it will reach to the same state A. So that is marked here. Okay. So for the state A, if I am giving 1 as an input, okay, I am giving 1 as an input to the state A, where it will go. So here in this diagram, this is my initial state, this is my state A. If I am giving an input 1, so here is the 1, here is the 1. If I am giving an input 1 here, it is moving to which state? It is moving to the state B. So that's why I have marked here B. Okay. Now let's see for this state B. So this is my next state B. For the input, if I am giving 0 and 1, to which state it will be moving? So for the this is the B state. If I am giving 0th input, okay, on B, if I am giving 0 input, means arrow should move from B to somewhere else. Okay, so from B, see here, this arrow is moving from B to somewhere else on 0th row, where it is moving to the state C. So for B, from B to another state for the 0th input, it is where it is moving to C. Okay, from B on input 1, from B on input 1, where it is moving, see in this, the arc is moving to, the arrow symbol is towards the A position, A state. So that's why state B, if I am giving input 1, it is moving to the next state A. Same way for C, the last state, final state C, 2 inputs, that is if I am giving 0th input. From C, if I am giving 0 input, I can see two arcs are there. One is this one and one is this one. Okay, so from C, 0th input is, if I am giving, where it is moving to the B state. It is moving to the B state. And on C, if I am giving input 1, it is moving to C state itself. Self loop. Okay, it's a loop, right? Self loop. Okay, so this is the way to represent the transaction function. This is the way to represent a transaction function. So this is the 5 ways of representing the DFA. First one is Q, which will indicate what are the states in my DFA. Okay, sigma will tell us what are the input symbols we need to use. The input symbols here we are giving 0 and 1. Okay, initial state is my A, which is always represented by the empty arc. Okay, and the final state is C. Okay, and the final state is C. Here the final state is C, and the transaction, the word here, that once means from one state to another state. On a particular input, from one state to another state, is a transaction function which we represent with the help of a table.